right, we'll call the Muskegon County Board of Commissioners special board meeting to order, and if we can have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Seer,
Present.
Commissioner Harvey Wright,
Excused.
Vice Chair Hughes,
Yes, here.
Commissioner Laring,
Here.
Commissioner Nash,
Here.
Commissioner Pago,
Here.
Chair Skolnick,
Here.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Here.
8 present.
Okay, normally the next item would be the approval of the agenda, but I'm going to move, there's an error in the what's on the agenda here. It says what is written is approval of the regular and closed session minutes of December 14th, 2021, and the regular session minutes of January 4th, 2022. Where it says regular session minutes, it should be organizational meeting minutes. So if that could.
Do you need a motion to accept that change?
Do I need a motion to accept this?
Yeah.
Okay, so
So moved.
Support.
Commissioner Pagel made the motion, Commissioner Nash supported it. So we're changing the words regular session minutes to organizational meeting minutes. Other than that, it's all the same. So is there any questions on that? If not, probably should do a roll call.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes. Commissioner
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Chair Skolnick,
Yes.
8 yes.
Okay, and one other item.
Let me interrupt for a second.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
They cannot hear us on Zoom. Double check.
One other thing, on the closed session, on the minutes that you just looked at and have been collected, the date on there was, the sign date was January 18th. It should be today because we moved this up a week, so it'll be January 11th, correct? Okay. All right, so next will be approval of the corrected agenda. I need a motion.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Hughes, support by Commissioner Seer. Is there any comment on that? If not, I think the voice vote will suffice here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion is approved. The first and next item is unfinished business, which is the only item that can be discussed today. I'll read the item. To authorize the board chair to sign a 3-year contract with Vital Core for inmate medical health care services and adjust the budget accordingly.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Nash, support by Mr.
Point of order, did you skip public comment?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and the
There's no
approval
deadline.
of the minutes.
In the approval of the minute, yeah,
We approved the minutes.
you made the amendment
No.
of the agenda, but we didn't actually approve the agenda.
We amended the agenda, approved the agenda.
You went to the minutes first.
Yeah, we didn't. Okay, so what do I need to do? Go back to the approval of the agenda?
Approve the minutes.
Yeah, you did the
As-
approval of the agenda, we have to approve the minutes.
They did that first.
Well,
You
my understanding was.
amended the.
I'm sorry, I screwed this up. I thought I thought we were approving the minutes and I skipped over the agenda. Okay,
Yeah, the agenda.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, can I just say that I guess clarify, did we vote to approve the agenda or approve the minutes? I voted in my mind to approve the agenda because I have an issue with the minutes.
We did do that, but you made an adjustment on the minutes.
Yeah, I had the, I.
That's what I thought we were voting on, just the adjustment.
We did.
We did, and then I voted to approve them.
We only took one vote though.
You
Yeah, we didn't
amended,
do the agenda. We did not approve.
Yeah, you did amend it.
you amended the agenda,
Right.
did a
that's what
roll
I voted on.
call, and then you did a voice vote on approval of the agenda. So that's number 3. So now we're on number 4.
The
Okay.
minutes.
So my mind was thinking something else. Okay, so now it's the approval of the minutes.
Correct.
The corrected minutes, or the statement of minutes. So, well, I need a motion to put that in.
moved.
Support.
Okay, Commissioner Hughes and Commissioner Seer. Okay, now, Commissioner Pagel?
Yes, I have a discrepancy with the closed session minutes. I don't know if I can talk about it or not, but I made it aware, so.
So to talk about the closed session minutes or the corrections to them, then you would have to go into a closed session to do that.
Well, what do we advise? Because I just noticed that was inaccurate.
So you would make a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss pursuant to section 8H, which would be to discuss material that is exempt from disclosure.
Do we have to do that right now, or can we do that at the end of the meeting?
You can do it at the end.
Okay, then I'll just wait till the end. Can we
Then you would want to
make a motion to approve the minutes at the end?
Yeah, you
want to postpone it.
Table.
motion. This is where a motion to table it would be appropriate.
To the end of the meeting.
To the end of the meeting.
I'll make a motion for approval of our minutes to happen at the end of our meeting. Table it to the end of today's meeting.
Okay, so we have a motion to table to the end, to the list, to the end of this week. We need support for that. Okay, Commissioner Sue.
I have a question. though.
Yes.
The way it reads in here is approval of the regular. Oh,
we
no, it
can't-
says regular and closed session. Okay.
But we amended the regular.
We
and it's
amended
supposed to
that.
be organizational.
Okay,
Aye,
so
aye, aye.
we have a motion to table. It's been supported. I don't think we can talk about anything else until that's voted on. Let's have a roll call on that.
Motion to table item 4 till the end of meeting. Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
8 yes.
Okay, so.
Sorry, I just want to be clear. So by the end of the meeting, we mean it will be after item 9, but before 10, obviously.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you for adding that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on to public comment. Is there any public comment?
Okay, I don't see anybody online.
Okay, nobody online, nobody in the audience. Now we'll move to item 6, unfinished business. It's to authorize the board chair to sign a 3-year contract with Vital Core for inmate medical healthcare services and adjust the budget accordingly.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion that's been supported. Now we can discuss this.
I would like to amend the motion to include not to exceed 1.96 million.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion to change the wording in here not to exceed 1.96 billion. So, Chair, does anybody have, I have a little issue with this, and I'll tell you what it is. This really needs to be done today, and I don't know that we can hold them to that because they didn't agree to that.
Says they do.
They agreed to the 1.96, but they didn't agree to
The first year.
keep that as, the absolute number. And this really, it's critical that this be moved ahead today. If there are any change, well, maybe, I don't know who would answer this, but if there are any changes, we would have to approve it.
Can I
Charles?
respond to this?
Yes, yes, sir.
I think we need to be very careful because this is 1.96 for the first year.
Mhm.
And it's a 4% increase for each year after, which is 2% less than what we had in the last contract that we just had. And I'm gonna tell you, we're lucky right now to even get anybody to do this and do this at the cost that they're gonna be able to do it. And what we're talking about in the previous meetings regarding things that we need to happen, this is part of that. And if we start playing around with this and we end up losing this company because we're trying to pinch a couple pennies, we're gonna find ourselves in a whole lot of hot water because Health West is on their way out. They're not trying to stick around. And I don't think we should play any kind of political tennis ball with this one. I think we need to go ahead and agree. They agreed to this. It's already done. It's not something that they're still negotiating. This is what they said they would do.
So why
And
not?
we're changing it, and it's gonna be on us if we do.
Yeah.
Okay, she's just asking that that number, which has already been approved by them, be included in the motion. I don't see that that's a problem.
It's in the contract. I mean, the contract spells out the dollar amount.
I
And
think,
it
I
sounds
think
like the
the
same
number
thing.
should be in the motion, and I also think not to exceed. If they've negotiated that, Bob, you just said they negotiated that number already. So why would we not want to hold it to that number?
I don't know. I don't know if not to exceed changes the terms of the contract. Because they negotiated that price, which is significantly less than they started, which
Well, it
is
says they successfully negotiated it.
250.
So-
Right.
I don't know why leaving it saying not to exceed that would be any different than a contract that says that's what it's gonna
For the
cost.
first year,
Wait,
but
wait, just a minute.
Yeah.
Let's
Mr.
ask
Mayor,
corporate counsel.
Please.
Well, I think we need to restructure the motion anyways, because we have some issues that need to be resolved with the contract. We were given the contract yesterday,
Well,
and so we reviewed it, and we have some issues with it that I provided to the county through a memo this afternoon.
Well, that was my question. I don't have a copy of the contract to even read.
And that's why it's corporate council still looking back and forth on the final details.
So whatever motion comes out of this, and I don't have a problem with the county approving the contract subject to review and approval of the issues that we have with it as well.
Are you gonna disclose those issues?
Yeah, I can.
Can you
I mean,
please?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the contract. That was something I was gonna bring up, is I haven't even read a contract.
I don't know whether you want me to just send you the memo or
Yeah,
go.
because they're still working on it. We haven't seen it either. The problem is that Health West does not have the staff after the 15th to staff the
Correct.
jail.
So it's really hard to vote on something when we haven't even read the contract, and we're in this predicament where we actually have to have healthcare services in the jail because we're losing that by the 15th. So can corporate counsel, I mean, we gotta make a decision in this meeting. We can't like
I have a
postpone this
question,
meeting to wait for the
Mike.
contract, but we don't have a contract. We don't even know what we're voting on.
Linda, do you have any more?
Yeah, what is Mr. Homier?
If the county is satisfied with the amount, I can work through the other issues. That seems to be the issue today for the county, right?
Can you develop what those issues are to us right now so that we know what we're,
Yeah, so there are
Up again?
issues like indemnification, right? Where, and I've got to work through I haven't talked to anybody on
okay,
the other side of the contract, right?
Okay.
We drafted a memo, sent it to the county.
okay,
So I'm happy to work through those issues. I haven't talked to anybody from the company itself about the issues.
okay. So you said issues, indemnification is one issue. Are there more?
Yeah, so I just sent you the copy of the memo.
Okay,
Hang on one second.
I'm always interested in severability also, so I don't know what that looks like. I don't have it.
Did you send it to all of us or just Linda?
But Mike, the dollar amount isn't your main issue. It's some of these details.
Yes, so let me just. go
So
through it.
would we make a tentative approval on the amount, and then we'd have to do another vote on the issues? I mean, this is, how do we actually proceed going further?
So let me read the memo and then we can talk
Perfect.
about it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So we looked at the contract at Vital Core Health Strategy, it's the contractor. The agreement includes several provisions adverse to the county's inmate medical health care services invitation to negotiate IT. We term that the ITN. Lacks provisions. I'm sorry about my voice. You know why it's
Yep.
the way it is.
Sorry.
And lacks provisions included in the county sample agreement found in Appendix A of the ITN. The key points are the agreement provides that its provisions prevail over conflicting provisions of the ITN. For example, insurance provisions of agreement conflict with the ITN by lacking additional insured professional liability components and requirements to furnish to the county The term is 3 years with the option for 2 years, for 2-year renewals, whereas the term in the ITN is 1 year. The contractor properly agrees to indemnify the county as required in the ITN. And under the agreement, the contractor shall provide a defense and have sole control over the defense, including the right and prerogative to settle any claims without consent of the county. The county shall implement policies in compliance with HIPAA. Before services are provided, the county will need a HIPAA compliant business associate agreement because Vital Core is performing functions with protected health information on behalf of the county. The county agrees to provide security sufficient to enable contractor to safely provide the healthcare services. The county agrees that its representative contractor will review the county's policies and procedures and modify or remove the provisions that conflict with the contractor's policies and provisions. And there is no termination provision. It only references termination. Provisions that are missing from the sample agreement are ownership of documents / Copyright Act records. That contractor will retain records kept for 4 years after termination, non-discrimination, non-exclusive agreement that the county may contract with other entities providing the same services. Time is of the essence, no third-party beneficiaries. So those are kind of the issues that we've identified that we need to resolve.
Definitely.
But if the county is satisfied with the amount, it can approve those amount and we will resolve those issues, obviously, and approve those or
So that's,
resolve those issues before we allow the contract to be signed.
so that's what I'm saying. So how do we have to come back to approve the issues? How does that happen? That's what my,
So if you're comfortable with corporate counsel reviewing those issues and resolving those, then we can do that. What I'm mainly concerned about is the term and the amount.
Mr. Chair,
Because I can resolve those other issues, I think, in compliance with the county's policies.
and severability, and then the settling any claims without consent of the county.
That's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen. Okay, okay.
Okay, Mr.
And-
Fernandez.
I think that we could satisfy everybody just by rewording the motion.
Well, Mr. Homer said that, yeah, that it needs to be reworded anyway.
No, what he's saying is we can approve this, the amount, but before I sign
I was
it,
just gonna
he's
say,
gonna come back. He's gonna, like, I'm not signing this.
I was just gonna make a suggestion for reword.
Okay,
Can I have, I
Okay,
have one
so-
last
no,
question?
wait, he's not done yet.
I wasn't done that. Okay.
What I was just gonna say, we can move to authorize the board chair to sign a 3-year contract with Vital Core contingent upon approval by corporate counsel for the amount of 1.96 million for the first year and 4% increase each year after.
Is that okay, Mark?
I'm okay with that motion as long as the board approves it, obviously.
Mrs.
Then
Mayor.
that would satisfy both.
Yeah, so my other question that I still had that wasn't answered is the addressing the severability. What would you add in there?
When you say severability,
Like the way that it's written and that we've agreed is a 3-year contract with an option to renew for 2 years. So can you explain that and what our severability is on and out if we want to sever, if they want to sever business with us or we want to sever business with them? What kind of severability clause will that look like?
you mean termination?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if, I guess, the contract originally is for 1 year with 2-year options for renewal, right? So are you saying you want a termination provision
Absolutely.
in the agreement that is something less than that? So let me give you an example. If the agreement is 1 year, then it's 1 year, right?
Mhm.
There is not a termination provision for something less than that.
So if we have an issue or they have an issue, what happens within that 1 year? I mean,
6
isn't it
months.
pretty common to have a 60-day notice or 90-day notice of termination?
Yeah, we can do that.
Please.
Yeah, we can insert that. I'm not sure that, like, for instance, I'm not sure the company is going to agree to a termination with or without cause for 90 days just on notice, right? So typically we have termination.
Well, we wouldn't do that unless we had an issue.
So typically we have termination for cause, right? And then we have to define what that cause is. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, but I want some sort of termination clause in there, or I can't vote
For
for it.
cause.
Sure,
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think
Yep.
we can get
we
that.
absolutely
Yeah.
need to have that in any kind of contract.
Mrs.
My
Wilson.
concern is we are going into this 3-year contract, but we need to make certain that they are the people that are gonna do the right job and not find out after 3 years that there's some problems that we should have pinpointed earlier. So how are we gonna deal with that? It's a
You know,
3-year.
if I could just make a statement here, they are currently the provider for Kent and Ottawa County. So I mean, we're not dealing with somebody new here that hasn't done it. But I don't know, you want to address, say that again, how do we know?
Yes, because I don't want, if there is a problem, I don't want it to get too far out of hand before we know about it. And with a 3-year contract, with no oversight on it, then we could very well end up in that position.
Yeah, and I think that's similar to the issue that Mrs. Pago was raising about a termination provision for cause.
Okay.
So there currently, I don't think there's one in there. It references termination, but doesn't actually provide
Specifics.
Correct, yeah. So that was one of the issues that we identified anyways. So I'm happy to put a termination
Please.
provision in
Right.
for
right.
cause.
Is-
With for cause with notice, you know, and depending on that cause, it may be immediate termination or notice.
Perfect.
So,
That I'm satisfied with that.
Mrs. Hughes?
And I'm fine with that wording. My concern is that we still have several things that we're uncertain about in the contract. And even if we approve the money right now, we still don't know that we're gonna wanna approve the contract. So I have some concerns about that. And if we have to make this decision by the 15th, we're all gonna be back here on the 13th.
Well, that'd be okay with me.
I would prefer to.
We're here
postpone this
Thursday
till the
anyway.
13th And get the answers from corporate counsel and the agreement from them back, so that we know exactly what we're signing and we don't approve the money
Okay.
before we are happy with the contract.
I'm not sure if I guess we're gonna have to know it anyway, but I did speak with Mrs. Rock, Julia Rock today. And she does not have staff after the 15th. She
I know.
has some staff.
But we have another meeting here on the 13th.
No, I'm not against, we can have another
Mike,
special.
can you
board meeting.
get this?
You think you can hammer that out by
You
the
think you can
13th?
just
I
spin
know
the
it's
nights
pressure.
up? and-
They'll have to be because they're starting on the 15th.
They're not
Yeah.
starting on the 15th unless we sign a contract.
Nothing.
We have to have coverage, so somebody has to be in the jail on the 15th.
Wait, if I could, would you like to speak?
I would.
Okay.
I didn't know it
Thank
was
you.
appropriate, but I might give alleviate some of this. Obviously, how we got here, you know, the timeline that we're on.
Yeah.
We received a contract at about 10:30 this morning. Read it, sent it to Mike. Mike sent back his key points, his memo. That has been sent to them. As far as I know, right now, they're working on his key points. They may come back and everything that you wanted and ready to go. They may not. There may be some things that need to be discussed between everyone. The other big issue is if you wait till the 13th, they're expecting that if this contract is passed today, that they're going to start hiring tomorrow. They've already interviewed some staff today. They're trying to get ahead of it as much as they can. They have to get insurance. They have to get the insurance that's referenced in the contract. There's things that need to be done, and I don't know that 2 more days is going to give them the time to do that by Sunday. I just want to make sure everyone's aware that those 2 days are very crucial considering our timeline as it stands right now.
Now, I would also say that Julia Ruff, is she on the call? She's willing to do the transitional services, but she doesn't have the staff. Do you?
Yeah, just, I'm neither.
Is there a contract With,
No, they're interdepartmental.
There's no contract.
She's not on, or she is?
She's not. Not Sarah.
Do you want to put her on?
she's not.
Let's see.
Can we get her on?
Yes.
Ken, did you have any more you wanted to say?
Yeah, no,
Or Sheriff, do you want to say anything?
I've been checking my email and Mr. Fletcher, our contact is, like I said, I believe they're probably looking at it all right now and either plugging the stuff in or figuring out a counter negotiations of those, with the language.
Yeah.
And again, most of this stuff we agree with. The termination provision is standard in any contract that we have as well. Some of the stuff is just procedural.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. It might not even be in there, but if there's one thing in there that shouldn't be in there at all, we're not going to change our policies according to theirs.
Yeah, and so, you know, I think, let me go back to my earlier statement. I think that if the board is comfortable with the amount, we will ensure that we
Yeah.
get a contract that reflects the key points that we've identified as problems. Because without that, like for instance, settlement of claims without the county's consent, that's
Right.
not gonna happen, right? The insurance provisions, I'm sure, you know, they're out trying to, they will meet those. Otherwise, they're not gonna be able to, we're not gonna be able to agree to that. You're right on we're not gonna change our policies. So, you know, there are key points that are no-goes, and, you know, I'll report it to the county at the meeting, whether we were able to get that done and the contract signed, or we didn't, and now here's the sticking point. So, but provided that we're comfortable with those key points, if you're comfortable with us, then making sure that those are done, I'm comfortable with the county. If the county's comfortable with the amount and the term, the 1 year with the option to renew for that, I think we can resolve those other issues. If we can't, we'll be back here on the 13th telling you we can't, or this is the sticking point. Okay, so at that point, then you'll have the opportunity to, either we're going to tell you that we got it done according to what we've satisfied those key points, or we'll be back here telling you, no, we didn't, and we need to discuss these other issues.
Yeah, so do we have to schedule a full board meeting for that report, or can that report come under one of the other committees?
I would, just to be safe, I would schedule a
Schedule.
special board meeting.
So should we make a motion to schedule a special full board meeting following committee meetings on
Yeah,
Thursday?
well, yeah, let's deal with, I suppose, the motion on the
Sure.
table, which is, you know, Charles' motion, which is the amount and provided that.
The new verbiage for the
Correct.
original motion.
Okay,
I'm sorry, can you read that motion that Mr. Nash?
What I have is amend to add not to exceed 1.96 million and termination with cause. It was moved by Vice Chair Hughes. We're on another, did I miss something? I'm sorry.
Can I
Can you-
restate?
Well, I think we have the original motion is still on the floor.
It is. We never voted on this.
No, I
Can
know.
I restate so everybody can hear and understand? Because I think it covers both issues.
So we have an original motion on the floor.
Right.
I'm trying to make an
He was
amended motion.
he was making a motion to amend that motion, as I understood.
Did we
Yes.
get a second on that? I don't.
I haven't even stated it.
I was gonna say, I don't have it in my notes.
Can I say it
Okay,
again?
thank you, Charles.
Move to authorize the board chair to sign a 3-year contract agreement with Vital Core contingent upon corporate council approval and for the amount of 1.6 million for the first year,
1.9.
1.96 for the first year, and a 4% increase for each year after for inmate medical health services not to exceed 2.2 million.
2.2 million. Is that what you said?
No, I'm sorry. Was it 2.2?
1.96.
1.96. So yeah, services not to exceed 1.96.
okay. Melinda?
So that 4% increase, is that standard, or can we take that out, or
That's what they already negotiated.
they already negotiated that, so we're locked into that?
And it's 2% less than what we had in our previous.
And you did say that, that's in my
Yeah.
notes, okay,
Mr.
so,
Chair, we have a point of order here. The original motion in the agenda was passed, or not passed, was made and seconded. That's the motion on the floor. Commissioner Hughes made an amendment that hasn't been voted on, and now Commissioner Nash is making an amendment that's not been even seconded yet. We need to round this thing out.
There's so many things going on here. I'm having a hard time. So the original motion was to do the one that's written here. Is that correct? That was the original motion, and corporate counsel said that it wasn't.
Oh, Commissioner Hughes did make a motion and I seconded it.
And Commissioner Hughes, what was your motion?
To sign the 3-year contract. Blah, blah, blah. with-
Not to exceed
not to exceed
$1.96 million with 4% increase
Oh,
each
not
year.
to exceed. Okay, so the original motion was the one, the suggested motion.
Yes,
Okay, and that was, there was, somebody made the motion, it was supported, correct? Who made the motion?
Susie,
I'm sorry, the original
Yeah, the
motion
original
motion was made by
was
Gerald.
moved by Commissioner Nash, seconded by Vice Chair Hughes.
That's the original motion that's on the.
Oh,
the
Original.
original one.
yeah.
Okay,
Then
so,
Then I made a motion to,
Slow down. Slow down.
Original.
Original. And then Commissioner Hughes made a motion to amend.
Not to exceed 1.96, seconded by Commissioner Pago.
So
Yes.
that's what's on the floor. currently. Commissioner Nash's revised motion is out of order because the motion to amend is not.
okay, so,
unless Susie wanted to
Unless
do a
she-
friendly amendment and accept it.
Or unless she withdraws her motion, then Commissioner Nash can make a motion to amend.
I will
okay,
do that.
Okay,
Withdraw my
so-
motion.
I have to withdraw my second.
all right, so the second,
Sorry, hang on.
so you
Stop,
withdrawn the
stop,
motion.
Stop. Stop. Just 1 second. And Mrs. Pago has to withdraw her support.
If she withdraws, yeah, there's no point in the second. So.
Okay. So now we're back to the original motion. And Commissioner Nash can now make his motion to amend the original motion.
Would you like to read that for us again?
Yes, authorize the board chair to sign the 3-year contract agreement with Vital Core contract contingent upon corporate council approval and for the amount of 1.96 million for the first year and 4% increase for each year after, not to exceed 2.2 million.
So moved.
Seconded then, right?
There's one motion on the floor. now.
Support. It was made by Charles, right? And
Mhm.
seconded by me.
It was made by
Oh,
Charles.
I said so moved.
You
She's
supported it.
supported by
She said so
Mrs.
moved.
Pago. Yeah. What is that, 2.2 million, correct?
No.
I don't think it's correct.
And at the end, it was supposed to say, for inmate medical healthcare service and adjust the budget accordingly for 1.96.
Okay.
I had said that at first, but I changed it to the 1.9.
Okay,
Not to exceed 1.96.
I'm sorry, sir.
Are you okay? Have you?
I think I'll get it. I don't understand the two numbers. For the amount of 1.96 million for the first year and 4% increase for each year after.
Not to exceed 2.29.
No, leave it out.
That's where I'm confused.
Okay,
Why did that-
stop,
Oh, okay.
stop, stop. Commissioner Nash, will you restate the motion to amend, please?
I'm gonna start over real slow, okay? Move to authorize the board chair to sign a 3-year contract with Vital Core contingent upon approval of corporate counsel for 1.96 million for the first year and a 4% increase thereafter for inmate medical healthcare service and adjust the budget accordingly.
So the 2.2 million, that had
That had
nothing.
nothing to do with it.
Okay,
I read the
perfect.
wrong line.
Okay,
So I went back.
okay, does everybody get that?
I've got it. Yeah.
Okay, we still are,
Support.
we can vote on that.
We had,
You made a motion and I
You made a
supported
motion, it's been supported,
it. Now we
but
can
it's
just
You're
still,
okay with that?
it's still contingent on
Yep.
the agreements
Yep.
being reached.
Correct.
And I'm not signing anything until everything is approved.
And just one question for the
Yes.
discussion. You do feel comfortable you can get all this worked out?
I'm comfortable that we will move heaven and earth to get it done, but I can't guarantee that the other side will agree to
Okay.
it.
Okay. And that's fair.
So now, point of order, we're voting on Charles's amendment. Does the first motion have to be pulled? Because the first motion was the original motion stated as it's in the paper. That's the motion that's on the floor. Charles's motion was to amend it.
Correct.
So we're gonna have one vote or two.
So
I have a question before we move on, if I could. I'd like to know, it says, and adjust the budget accordingly. What does that mean?
What was the budget, right?
Yeah, where, are we- how much is that gonna be?
And you,
Finance director.
Hello, Angela Gashesky again, Finance Director. So in the last meeting, we discussed last week that the increase was about $766,000 in the budget. We've cut that almost in half. We've gotten it down $275,000.
Okay, so just, so when you, there's two things to vote on here. Did you say that?
yes, the amendment, and if the amendment passes, then that becomes the
original motion. Yep.
And you would vote on that. If the amendment fails, the original motion then is the motion you would vote on.
Okay, Sheriff, if you're gonna mess this up, I don't.
Why don't we vote first?
Michael Cooley, County Sheriff. I don't want to mess it up. I just want to offer some more dollars for the budget. I guess let me put it that way. I don't remember the amount that Angela just said that it was off, the difference right there.
275.
Yeah, we currently use contractual services for Concierge Corrections. We did break that contract, but we ran back and did the average over the last 4 years. Our budget on that is about 250,000 annually. So that was savings that we could put towards this because Vital Court does the same service. So we can put on there. And I was also just going to throw out there the 150,000 that we just got back, or the additional for our secondary road patrol program is put into the general fund is something that potentially could be used too. This first year, if you kind of throw those two together, you'll get us somewhere right at that 1.4 mark that we were before.
Bob, I have a question for the sheriff.
Yes, Susan.
Sheriff, how much did you have budgeted for this service?
1.4. I need to use that. 1.46.
1.46.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
So back to what corporate counsel said, you can't guarantee that they're gonna accept our provision.
Right.
So what is our plan B?
The plan B is then after this, after you vote on this, then we'll schedule the special board meeting. I'm gonna let you know, and then any of those terms or those items that we cannot agree to, I'm gonna bring those back to the county, and the county's gonna have to decide whether or not they'll agree to their terms or not. If we reach an impasse.
Okay,
I don't know.
I
whether
know,
I don't know whether we will or not.
thank you.
But I'm not gonna let the county sign an agreement where,
Right.
for instance, you have no control over settlement claims.
Thank you.
Okay, roll call please.
On the amendment,
Oh,
Vice
Correct.
We're voting on
Amendment.
the amendment, then we're gonna vote on.
This is the
Well, the amendment,
amendment
if the amendment passes, we don't vote on the original.
No, but you vote on the amended motion.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so
Oh,
voting
two
on the
amendments.
amendment, so a yes vote would basically affirm what we just done.
Vice Chair Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes,
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Chair Skolnick,
Yes,
8 yes.
okay, that one passes. So now the next one is the final motion, which is essentially what the rest of the amendment is. So we'll do a roll call on this one too.
Commissioner Laring,
Sorry,
oh, sorry.
somebody needs to make a motion. then.
I'll make a motion to,
Oh, no, you're right. Now it's a vote. Now
the original.
the original.
With
So
the-
I'm not sure who made the original
It was Charles.
Right, so,
Charles
so-
made it and I seconded it.
yeah, okay, so that, so now that's the amended motion, so we can do the roll call vote on that.
Okay, Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
Commissioner Pago.
Yes,
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Seer.
Yes.
Vice Chair Hughes.
Yes.
Chair Skolnick.
Yes.
8 yes.
Now I would like somebody to make a motion to set a special meeting, just in case we run into an issue, we can bring it back. to the council.
So
No.
move.
second,
Support.
For that's for Thursday.
Thursday, the 13th.
So the special meeting will be Thursday, are there other meetings? on that?
Yes.
I'd like to do this one first,
Yep.
instead of at 2 or 2:30.
Okay, so there'll be a
2:30.
special meeting on January 13th. Can we do 3 o'clock?
we can't do 3 o'clock because the committees start at 3.
Well, we're gonna switch it.
My meeting is at 3 currently.
We,
we can.
we can't switch those, they're standing committees. We
Well,
can.
depends on which one you start first, right? So yeah, we'll start at 3.
Start at 3, then we can move the community development transportation.
All right, so the motion is to have a special board meeting on Thursday, January 13th at 3 o'clock to discuss the contract with other. Sorry,
What time?
3 o'clock.
And we'll have to make sure that notice is published.
Yes, Melinda.
Yeah, so corporate counsel, can you refer and clarify how that affects our board? How it would be with our committee meeting starting at 3? Like, do we have to make an announcement that that's gonna be prospective to vote on that?
Well, I don't think so, because you generally have a standing committee meetings at the same time anyways, right? So, I mean, you can publish a notice that says, you know, yeah, that it will,
Yeah, because
yeah,
that's my whole point.
yeah.
And Mike, today we said, what do you want to start with?
They both say 3 o'clock today.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
So we can
start
start-
with-
So we picked one to start with.
Yeah, it will start as soon as possible.
I don't know if we need a roll call.
I don't think we need a roll
Special
call,
meeting.
but, oh, for that.
No. you
For the
just
special
by
meeting,
voice.
yeah.
We'll do a voice vote for the special meeting on January 13th at 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, that motion passes. So we've done some of the work today.
I want to ask a quick question. If corporate counsel gets satisfied with everything that is posed to them, and they agree to sign it, can we move forward with signing it and then start hiring people?
Yes.
It's contingent.
That's what we just, yeah.
Right, without.
That's what the contingencies
It's
is for.
the contingency is if we don't come to sell it. So if we
Right.
come to sell them, we're moving forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Not bringing anything back. I'll cancel the meeting if that happens.
That'd be
Okay.
fine.
Well, I still, well, how,
Well,
okay.
you can't decide.
Because he's gonna get
yourself.
what you want.
No,
Well,
we can't.
right.
And if he can't, we'll be in the meeting.
You don't have to cancel it.
Okay.
Will he just forward the information to us since we have it? So, I mean, in lieu of the special meeting, if that's the case?
The contract.
I mean, because I still want to see the contract.
Yes, in fact, we should forward the existing to,
Perfect.
yeah,
Okay.
and then we'll let you know what the changes are
Okay.
on Thursday. We may not need a special meeting for that if we reach an agreement.
Correct.
But we can tell you what they are at the community development.
All right, so if everything, if we can reach an agreement on this, then we'll cancel the special meeting. It won't make any difference since we'll be here at
You'll
3
be
o'clock.
here,
anyway.
you'll be here, and you can cancel it then because I'll report it to you one way.
Okay. So that being the final meeting.
No, we have to go to closed session.
I'm sorry.
We have to go to closed session for those minutes,
Yeah, we have.
for number 4.
Okay, I need a motion for a closed session to discuss the minutes.
Support.
And we have,
And that's pursuant to section 8H.
I agree with it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to discuss the closed session minutes of December 14th and the organization. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Chair Skolnick,
Yes.
8 yes.
Okay, so we need to go to